Hi, I'm Olivia. This is AV Club, and this is not what I had planned on recording today. I was planning on filming an announcement of sorts today, and I'll put that at the end of this video if you're interested. But plans changed whenever I was scrolling through Libby, looking at upcoming books that I could put on reserve, when all of a sudden I see this. I thought, that looks suspicious. That looks vaguely like AI, dare I say. And so, yes, I put in the book cover for No Rest for the Wicked by Rachel Louise Adams, published by Minotaur under Macmillan, into an AI detector, and survey says yes. This made me so mad that it derailed my day. I had to come talk to you about it. First things first, this is no shade to the author because authors have little to no control over the book covers that they are given. And actually, in the UK, Australia, New Zealand, Titan Books publishes this and they do not have an AI cover. This book actually sounds really interesting. So, if you are interested in it as well, I would encourage you to get it through Titan Books because it sounds really fun. It's about like a Halloween obsessed Midwestern town, weird cat stuff. It sounds really good. And that's why this was so disheartening because I will go ahead and tell you under no circumstances will I knowingly be creating, reviewing, consuming anything about AI generated art on this channel. And I am going to urge every one of you, everyone watching this video, to kind of take the same pledge in your heart. And I will go over the reasons why if you are not yet convinced. First of all, AI art is sourced in a large part by using stolen art assets that were trained off of art created by real human artists that did not consent to their images being used in this manner. That, first of all, is a huge ethical red flag. The computers that generate these images also use a massive amount of energy and water, terrible for the environment. When companies are using AI art, that means they are not employing artists. And this is especially egregious whenever you see a big publisher putting something like this out. And if we don't take a stand on this now and be voting with our dollars, this is just going to get worse and worse. Anytime we say, oh, I'll let it slide this time, that is really just manufacturing consent for AI to further infiltrate all parts of our lives. We've seen scandals recently that writers are using AI to help them write their books and even leaving AI prompts in the books. AI art also just does not look good. Like it's still detectable by the human eye, and like that's gonna get worse. But like look at this cover. All of the light is like coming from different places. Like it just looks bad. You could tell it was AI by just like that soft glowy effect that a lot of it has. It just looks gross. And this proliferation of AI art online, AI generated images, it's just poisoning the well of online, of the internet. A really good comparison for how significant of an issue this is after the atomic bomb. That atomic bomb radioactively charged all of the metals to some extent on Earth. And so, to create Geiger counters that can identify when there's radioactive material, they're actually having to go under the ocean and get metal from sunken battleships from World War One because it's the only thing that isn't poisoned by that. And we're doing the same thing with images online. Like if you go and Google baby kittens, baby puppies, puppies playing, raccoons playing, you are going to see AI generated art on Google, and you are not going to be able to find those real human images, real animal images online. And that should make you really sad. And I think if you're part of the Booktube, booktok, any kind of book creating, art creating community, art reviewing community online, that you have a responsibility to be invested in that community and make sure it still happens. Whenever we say it's okay for a cover to be made by AI, that means fewer jobs for real artists. Whenever you're saying it's okay to have AI generated books, you are robbing yourself and everyone else because you're manufacturing mass consent to remove imagination from our lives, to remove contemplation from our lives. And this is all just a fast track to fascism, honestly. Like, this is high key. They want to de intellectualize our world because it is so much easier to control people who are taking shortcuts all the time, that are not contemplating things, that think of life as just purchasable consumption and objects. I have to believe it's rage bait, but I'm sure a lot of you have seen that thing about, the people reading 100 books a year because they're reading AI summaries of the book. Like, this is a massive existential crisis, and this is all intertwined. In terms of how it's poisoning our community as well, I just read a really good article by Chris Person today on the upscaling of old films to restore them to 4K, and that we are losing film history in that process. That if you're looking at this AI upscaled Rose in Titanic, that is not really what it looked like. That is not the feeling that people got from that movie, that made it such a cultural phenomenon, that made it have impact. And just letting all of that stuff erase history is an existential threat. We're going to see this more and more with historical events being erased by AI or being created by AI. As I'm sure you know, that these deep fakes of historical figures or current day political leaders saying things that they haven't really said, it's a big issue. I really hope people are waking up to that it's not just making silly little images and that this one time it's okay. Because every time you see that and you tell yourself it's okay, or you're telling other people it's okay, it's just opening the door for so many worse things. Like, we have to be firm on this. I am begging you. It was so upsetting to see that big creators in the Booktube community were using AI generated art on their Patreons. Like, truly high key, you do not need to be monetizing other people's art, stolen art, stuff that you didn't even really make. I think people are losing sight of the fact that the trying is one of the most important aspects of art. That you don't have to have gone to art school in order to make something that looks good. Start scribbling, make a zine, use crayons. Do not use AI generated art on your Patreon. That is sick. And along the same lines, like, this is especially egregious because it's Macmillan, and you know that they have a massive amount of money that they could be using to pay real artists to make book covers. But I am not letting it slide for indie published books either. There is no excuse. Put together something on Word, put together something on Canva. Ask your community to help. Ask a friend. Like, what is going on? It is not art if there's been no imagination, no creation in the process. And it's really not worth anyone's time. If you can't be bothered to write your own book, it does not deserve to be read. If you do not put forth the work to create an image, you do not have to be an artist in order to make your own book cover, then I will not be looking at it. I will not be supporting it. There is no circumstance where I think this is okay. But like I said earlier, they put this author in a really bad spot. It's not about the author. So yeah, support them through Titan Books or however you can get it without this cover. But let people know, let publishers know that you will not be reading and reviewing these books, that they're not going to wake up to it and they're not going to change what they're doing unless they think that there is monetary backlash for it. I'm still so mad, but it was nice to talk about this a little bit. But I want you to think about who's benefiting whenever you are being told AI art is inevitable, that you need to get on the train or hop off. Who's telling you that, and what are they getting to benefit from it? Versus what are you losing out by not resisting that and by not accepting that future? These billionaires who are getting richer and richer by the day as everyone else is getting poorer and poorer, that wealth disparity is growing. Their ideal future is one where humans do not exist. Humanity, culture, life, laughter, poetry, none of these things matter to big businesses. And that's why we come to literature. So it does not make sense to support one whenever it is wanting the death of the other. So read slowly. Books are not a list of objects to be conquered. It's those quiet places of solitude and imagination where the value is really coming from. I urge everyone to be very outspoken about this. A lot of people just don't have an opinion yet and don't know why AI art is so evil. And so I think that whenever people don't speak up, everyone just thinks that they're all on the same page, that there's not really an issue with it. And I think that if we catch people earlier, before it is just accepted in society, I think that we have a better chance of shutting this down. But yeah, that was my 2 cents for today. I'm sure I'll be talking about it again. This was just a specific instance that just made me so mad because this book actually sounds really good and I will be looking to read it through Titan. Thank you very much. And so, just my little announcement is yeah, I'm participating in Shorty September this year and I will be hosting reading sprints on my channel. I'll have one each of the 4 weeks of September, trying to aim for two that are US centered times, two that are more Europe, UK centered times. Those are at 3 a.m. for me here in Australia. Ironically, don't really have a great Australian represented time. So, yeah, I hope to see everyone on a happier note for my Shorty September reading sprints announcement. But yeah, leave me all of your hate comments towards AI in the comments. I would love to be a hater with you. But until next time, I'll talk to you again soon. Bye.